All right, so this is basically going to be just my thoughts on this article that was recently published on September 6th, well, fairly recent, about a month ago. It was published in the New York Post, written by Hannah Frischberg, and the title of the article is "Broke Men Are Hurting American Women's Marriage Prospects." So I'm just going to read over it and basically give you my 2 cents. So it starts off, there's a devastating shortage of men who have their act together, according to a new study that may not be so surprising to all the single ladies out there. So again, it starts off with, typical libtard male bashing, right? It's misandry. It's the whole stereotypical, men don't have their act together, they're losers, they're beta men or omega men, living with their parents, in the parents' basement, just total losers, not a care in the world. We've seen this in numerous sitcoms. It's all over the media, and this is just par for the course. So it's typical male bashing. You already know that there's a slant, there's a bias, and there really isn't any evidence to suggest this. And it's funny how they're always talking about, like the wage gap, which has been debunked a myriad of times and whatnot. But then now suddenly there's a lot of broke men, so it's like either the men are broke or they're kicking ass and taking names and dominating the world. You can't have it's one or the other. It can't be both. It just doesn't make any sense. So it's just quasi-science nonsense, but let's read on. Research now suggests that the reason for recent years' decline in the marriage rate has something to do with the lack of economically attractive male spouses who could bring home the bacon, according to the paper published Wednesday in the Journal of Family and Marriage. So again, lack of economically attractive male spouses who could bring home the bacon. What happened to feminism? Hello? I thought feminism was all about women being independent, A woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle. Like, what happened to all that? I thought women wanted to have their own careers and basically be men with tits. And, that's basically what a feminist is. Many people say, there's an old joke or old saying, that a feminist is basically a failed man. They're jealous of men, they got penis envy, they're insecure, so bash men to try to bring them down to their level because misery loves company. So again, economically attractive male spouses. So I thought feminism was about women earning their own keep, women bringing home the bacon. So now apparently they want men to bring home the bacon. Which is it? Do they want men to be house husbands, to be cucks? Do they not want women to date men or marry men at all because it's considered domestic slavery? So you see, that's the thing with the feminist movement. It's like they're all over the place. There isn't even any consensus amongst the group, right? There's a lot of infighting, which is very common with libtards, with the whole leftist movement. They're eating each other, It's just a crazy cesspool of insanity, and there's no clear focus or no clear narrative. It's just chaos, pure chaos, basically. So let's read on. So most American women hope to marry, but current shortages of marriageable men with a stable job and a good income, make this increasingly difficult, says lead author Daniel Lichter in a press release. Again, the only thing worse than a feminist is a white knight, a mangina, a munt. And this guy is clearly a traitor to his own kind. This is one of the issues that we have. That a lot of people in power happen to be white knights, and they also view men as threats to their power, so they try to bring them down any way possible. And this is just another such example of it. So again, it's funny how women have been practicing hypergamy since the dawn of time, and men have never said anything about it. They've never really complained until recently with the MGTOW movement. But suddenly it's an issue. Women can't find men who make a lot of money, and it just proves that a lot of women, I hate to say it, are gold diggers. For them, marriage is an economic transaction, right? It's all about, what can the man provide for me? He's seen as a commodity. He's either an asset or a liability. If he's a liability, he's kicked to the curb, which is what ends up happening more often than not, which is why 50% of marriages end in divorce, and why 80% of divorces are initiated by women. What happens is, the only reason women want to get married is because they want protection, physical protection, because men tend to be bigger and stronger. They want children, right? They have that biological clock that starts to tick. They want to have kids, and they want that financial protection, right? So they want someone who makes more than them, that has a stable job, so that once she gets tired of him and she decides it's time for an upgrade, she can kick him to the curb, get the house, the car, the kids, child support, alimony, the works. And this is something that no one is talking about. A lot of guys are saying they want a traditional housewife. What's dangerous about traditional housewives is that they don't have any, they don't make any money. They're at home. So when they ask for a divorce, they file for a divorce, the judge is going to side with them. He's going to take, or he or she's going to take pity on her, and she's going to basically get the divorce jackpot, as it were. This is why it's very dangerous for men to marry traditional housewives. because you're gonna have to pay alimony up to wazoo once the divorce is well, that's on all the papers are signed. So you have to be very careful. Actually, honestly, if you are gonna get married, I think it'd be better if you marry a career-oriented woman, because she's gonna be more likely to be an equal. She's gonna be more likely to give you your space, and not be so clingy. And in the event of a divorce, if she's a career-oriented woman, let's say she doesn't want kids, and she just wants to focus on her career, then, well, you don't have to worry about child support payments. You don't have to worry about having your children taken away from you. 85% of the time, women get sole custody of children. So if you want to lose your kids, you don't want to pay child support. If you don't want to pay alimony, I mean, there's still a chance that you will have to pay alimony, but if she's a career-oriented woman, she makes about as much or even more than you, then the chance that she'll end up being the one having to pay alimony, or there won't be any alimony payments to worry about. So there's going to be more than likely an even split of assets. Basically, the house will be sold, and the money will be split evenly between the two parties, and there's no child support, no alimony, and you basically go your separate way with your assets you brought into the marriage. That's pretty amicable. It's a pretty sweet deal. That's not the norm, unfortunately. So you got to be careful with the tradcons who are trying to shame men, telling men they got to step up, they got to man up and get married. The media is all about always talking about how men are not willing to commit. But in reality, given the fact that 80% of divorces are initiated by women, it's women that have the trouble committing. But no one talks about this. We live in a misinterest society, a gynocentric society. The ulterior motive is to put women up on a pedestal and to put men down, and basically serve as the pedestal or a stepping stone. Call it what you want. It's disturbing, but it is what it is. So let's keep reading. Lichter adds that unless your dream man is an Uber driver, the dearth of would-be grooms is prominent. The current gig economy of unstable, low-paying service jobs. And again, whose fault is this? There are all these female-only scholarships, all these programs that support women, all these entrepreneurship programs that are pushing women's programs. It's all women this, women that. Funding for healthcare is all about women. So if you give one group, far more rights than the other, and you're giving them all these resources to better themselves, of course they're going to get better. It's a handicap. And then you can't then flip things around and blame men for not, being on the same level as women when you've been supporting women from the get-go. It's like taking anabolic steroids, like a baseball player, and then he wins the home run derby or whatever the hell it's called, right? For hitting like 100 home runs. And then you're like, oh, look at him, he's amazing. It's not him, it's the fucking steroids that gave him a huge advantage, an unfair advantage. That's what women are right now. They're giving all these boosts, all these buffs, to become the best that they can be. Meanwhile, men are denigrated and chastised and ostracized in society, which is why the suicide rate is so high. It's 80%, which is why the homelessness rate of men is 80%, and so on and so forth. Men are impoverished because no one's willing to give them a chance. They're deemed as subhuman, unevolved compared to women. So when society has that mentality, they're going to support women. Women are going to get the jobs over the men, and then you can't blame men for not being able to get a job or hold on to a job because no one's willing to give them an opportunity because they automatically assume that a man is inferior to a woman. That's the society we live in. Now the future is female. That's what they're pushing. It's disturbing, but what are you going to do? Okay. So, to investigate the man drought, researchers created profiles of potential husbands based on real husbands as logged in American Community Survey data. They then compared these hypothetical spouses with actual unmarried men. They found that a woman's makeup hubby makes 58% more money than the current lineup of eligible bachelors. Holy shit! 58% more? Are you fucking shitting me? I think the average guy in the States makes like 52 grand right now? So wait, 58% more, if my math serves me correctly. They're looking for a guy who makes, 80, 90K? Can you correct me if I'm wrong? I'm not a math major. Is that right? 90 to 100K, 6 figures. How many men, or women for that matter, make 6-figure salary? It's just like 1%. So they're looking for their Prince Charming, basically, to sweep them off their feet and take care of all their fucking student debts. Women make up 2/3 of all student debts in the States. 2/3, my friends. Let that sink in. They major in these stupid, worthless degrees in gender studies and religious comparison studies and basket weaving 101, and then they complain why they can't get a quality job because they made a stupid decision to major in this garbage, worthless degree. Doesn't know what the paper it's printed on, and then they have all these debts. So what they're looking for is for a man to take over their debts. Because once you get married, the man also assumes the debts. Both parties, basically, yeah. So again, this is what happens. She marries him. She hopes that he'll pay off the debts. If he's unable to, she'll divorce him, take all his money, and then use that money to pay off the debts. Never marry a woman with debts, my friends. Don't get married, period. Stay the fuck away from women. Go MGTOW. It's the only way you're going to protect your assets. Look, it can get lonely. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to be one of those MGTOWs that talks about, oh, I don't need no woman. Being alone is so fucking sweet. It's not all peaches and cream, okay? There's a downside to being single. We all have this drive, call it subconscious drive, to procreate, to pass on our seed, our genetic pool, call it whatever the hell you want. We all, or almost 99% of people have this, both men and women. We want to have kids. We want to get married, fall in love, find the one, get a house, get a car, get married, and die in each other's arms. That's the ideal. It's not realistic, but we all hope for that. We think that we won't be like the others. We're going to be part of the 50% that do make it, or whatever, 48% or whatever that does make it till the end. It's human nature. We try to see the best in people, particularly during the courting process, where you tend to ignore the flaws, just focus on the positives. Then you get married, and you're basically screwed, and get the mercy of the woman. It is what it is, People don't want to be alone. There's a stigma around being alone for both men and women. So we want to fit in. We want people to not judge us and say, oh well, this guy's got his act together. He's got the trophy wife. He's got the kids. The patio, the white picket fence, the townhouse or whatever. The 2 cars, 2.5 kids, college degree. The stable career, with a lot of opportunities for advancement. We all want this, or almost everyone wants this. It's just not realistic to achieve, because there are only so many positions to go around, so many quality positions. So you have everyone fighting to get through the same door to get in. What's going to happen? You're going to have a huge freaking jam. It's a gridlock, right? So then maybe 1 or 2 people manage to squeeze in, and everyone else is locked off. So what do? They go back to the drawing board and they start fighting for scraps. That's all that's left. There's 8 billion people on this planet, folks. 8 billion people. The natural resource pool is finite. We're running out. It's like you're stretching and stretching and stretching. Eventually, it's going to rip apart at the seams. All that's going to be left are tattered remains of what society once was. People don't want to talk about this. They're in denial. They fill up their lives with fucking reality shows like American Idol and Dancing with the Stars. And you listen to garbage music because it numbs the mind. If they can't get a hold of narcotics, then they numb their minds with all this fucking, it's all this BS. It's all this it's basically a drug, because they don't want to face up to reality. They want to live in their echo chambers. They want to be blue pilled, and obviously a lot of men are becoming red pilled. A lot of men are being black pilled, and they see the world for what it is. And these are the men that are being shamed for being losers. It's look, they've given up. There's only so much a person can take before they say fuck it. There's no point. I try and I try. I get nowhere. What's the point? Self-handicapping is better. At least then you have a so-called legitimate excuse why bother? If you try and you fail repeatedly, then you're going to say, it's me. Well, it may be you, but it may not be you. It may just be society discriminating because you're a guy or a person of color, or they're discriminating because you're short. Look at heightism. Men are discriminated based on height. If you're under 6 feet tall, you're considered a manlet, even though the average man is 5'9". There's only about 8 or 9% of men that are over 6 feet tall, but virtually everyone wants what they call the mark of the beast, the big 3-6. They want a man who's over 6 feet tall, who's a dick over 6 inches, who makes over 6 figures. It's not realistic. And what do you women have to bring to the table? You're fucking nobodies, just like most of us. But no one talks about women being losers. When have you ever heard of a woman being referred to as a beta female? Never. I don't even think the term exists. We hear about beta males, omega males, incels, man-child, losers, manlets, neckbeards, betas, cucks. Women aren't perfect. Studies have found that the IQ scores throughout the ages, either men are equal to or greater than women. I don't think there's ever a single study that showed women had higher IQs. Men's brains are 10% bigger. We invented virtually every single friggin' thing known to man. 99% of the inventions. We have 90% of the patents in 2019. But no one talks about any of this. We're on average bigger, stronger, faster. Contrary to popular belief, you have a higher pain threshold. We could pee standing up. It's easier for us to come. There's a lot of biological advantages to being the dude. We don't have to get pregnant. We don't have to menstruate. We don't have to deal with the biological clock or menopause. Maybe women are just jealous. Maybe it's an insecurity thing. Let's face it, men have dominated the world since the dawn of time. It's only the upper 1%. And that's what the feminists focus on. So what's the top 1%? Oh, 97% of CEOs, Fortune 500 companies are men. Oh, they dominate politics and the military, and they get paid so much more in athletics. It's because they deserve it. They work hard. They're the best of the best. We're supposed to live in a meritocracy. What about the bottom 50% of people? The vast majority of those people are men. Feminists never talk about the fact that the vast majority of those incarcerated are men. The vast majority of suicide victims are men. The vast majority of homeless are men. Men are far more likely to drop out of high school and college. They have far fewer college degrees. They're far more likely to live at home, to move back home. They're far more likely to get divorce raped. Far more likely to die from virtually everything. Men have weaker immune systems. This is an interesting fact. There's 107 males born every year to 101 every year. There's 107 males born for every 101 females. So more males are born than females. So you'd think based on that there'd be more males than females. But in the vast majority of countries, there are more females than males. Has anybody ever talked about this? It's because men, even from childbirth, are far more likely to die. Mothers and fathers are more likely to beat their children if they're male. They're more likely to neglect them if they're male. It's and for the first time in history, there was a study that found that most expectant parents would prefer a girl over a boy. What does that tell you? Men are seen as inferior to women. We have to debunk this. It's not true. Being a male doesn't inherently make you inferior to a female. Look, women have a lot of strengths. Okay, I'm not going to lie. They got better memories, better immune systems. They live longer. They can have multiple orgasms. Just the fact that they can give birth is freaking huge. It means that they're never going to be considered disposable like men. Okay, because they're necessary to propagating the species, keeping us alive, right? So women have a lot of gifts. I would argue they have nicer bodies. I don't know, on average. They have a lot of things going for them. They have better senses in general, and I think they're better communicators. They have a lot of strengths. I'm not denying that. Right? Men and women are supposed to complement one another. But we only focus on the strengths of women, and we just, to the expense of men, it's why can't we focus on the strengths of men and women and bring both of them up to the same level? That way they can truly complement each other, right? If you're on the same playing field, same wavelength, then you're going to be compatible. It's going to be kosher, and you can work together towards achieving those common goals. But there's such a dichotomy or discrepancy between the two groups, and they're opposite ends of the spectrum, then they're never going to meet. And we're just going to have this whole MGTOW versus feminazi thing going. And look, personally, I don't want this. I want men and women to get along. I want marriages to be more egalitarian. Divorce settlements to be more amicable and fair. If that were the case, I wouldn't be making these videos. Right? If all the assets were split down the middle, that includes children, and alimony was a thing of the past, and women started asking men on dates, and proposing, and not expecting men to provide and be romantic all the time, I wouldn't be making these videos. There would be no problem. We would be living in a utopia if men and women got along. But that's not the case. We live in a dystopia. And I don't know. It sucks. It's not going to affect me, but the next generation of men are completely, utterly fucked unless we do a 180 and fix this shit before it's too late. So where was I? The study reveals large deficits in the supply of potential male spouses, the study concludes. Many young men today have little to bring to the marriage bargain, especially as young women's educational levels on average now exceed their male suitors, Lichter says. Again, a man will never be loved unconditionally. The only two beings or entities, species, call it what you want, are loved unconditionally are women and dogs. Studies have found that men are far more likely to fall in love first in a relationship, and they love harder, which is why a lot of men are driven to suicide when they get divorced or when the wife or significant other breaks up with them. It's devastating. Men love truly with their hearts and souls, and I don't see that with too many women. Look at all the shit that men are willing to do to get a woman. Look at all the things they're willing to do to please a woman. But you never see a woman trying to improve herself to please a man, right? Women are always saying, love us for who we are, but for men, it's all about men need to be fixed. There's something wrong with them. By default, They're problematic. Toxic masculinity. They have all these toxic traits, and we have to purge all that toxicity from them. The only antidote to toxic masculinity is femininity, right? Pure, loving, compassionate, empathetic, femininity. Feminine traits are considered positive, masculine traits are considered negative. So basically, the femininity has to come in and take care of the man and fix him up. And there's a theory that goes that the reason why a lot of women like bad boys is because they're looking for a fixer-upper, basically a pet project. And what happens is once they fix the guy up to their liking, they get bored. So like, you know what? I have nothing else to bitch about. I want to move on to the next target. Because let's face it, a lot of women like drama. For them, drama is a spice of life. They live for drama. They live for gossip and backstabbing. It's like Mean Girls, right? That's what a lot of women are into. I'm sorry to say. Not all, of course. Some men are into that shit. I'm not saying, generally speaking, women tend to be more into those things. They just like to, they want to reserve the right to complain. And I think that's why they go for the bad boys. So either they're going to bitch about the bad boys to their girlfriends or to society that men are bad, where are all the good men gone? Or they'll try to fix him up, and once he's fixed up, she'll dump him and move on to the next guy. It's kind of disturbing, but men will rarely try to change women. It's like, look, you're attractive or whatever, something about you that I like. Men actually don't want their significant others to change. So that what ends up happening is once they're married, the woman shows their true colors. The women are master chameleons. So once a woman is married, she's like, I've bagged and tagged this sucker. There's nothing he can do. Like a Venus flytrap. He's dead. He's screwed. He's at the mercy of her. She decides his fate. Once they're married, right? Because women have all the rights. So then she's like, I could be myself. What the fuck's he gonna do? He files for divorce. There's no fault divorce. I'm gonna take him to the cleaners. He knows he's stuck. So that's what happens. So women pretend to be all nice and and whatnot, and then once they're married, they show their true colors. The fangs come out, and then the guy's like, "Oh, too little, too late." So with men, for the most part, what you see is what you get. That's what I like about dudes. They're straight shooters for the most part. Of course, society's gonna bash men for being straight shooters. They want men to repress who they truly are, which is kind of disturbing. But I think most guys are like, "Look, this is who I am. Take it or leave it." And women are like, I'm not going to take it. And they try to change the guy up. And the guy is so in love with the woman, he's like, I'm just going to go along. Because, women, again, men want to please women. Women have always been seen as the prize. So, men are designed to venerate women. We want to protect. There's a biological imperative to protect women, to take care of them. We want to treat our girlfriends or wives like princesses. But it's not. The reverse isn't true. For women, men are utilities. What can you do for me? Can you provide? Kids. Financial stability, a house, a car. Can you fix things? Can you take out the trash? It's not so much about the man himself and his personality and his true essence. It's really sad. No one's talking about this. I see this all the time. Guys fall in love with women. They're willing to do anything they want, anything they can to please her. She's never satisfied. Always bitching and complaining. Always looking for someone better, even though she's no prize herself. I'm telling you right now, females have far bigger egos than men. I've said this a million times. No one talks about this. It's all about the male ego, the male ego, the male ego. Fuck you, okay? Yes, men have egos. But at the end of the day, most men want to please women. Most men know that they're not all that. There's some arrogant assholes, some douchebags out there that are ruining it for the rest of us. But most men are dangerously insecure about their height, because we're going to be very likely to judge based on their height, based on their educational attainment, based on how much money they make. These are things that we never discuss with women. Whether how big their dicks are, whether they're able to last in the sack. That's never an issue with women. Women, all they need to do is spread their legs. They don't have to worry about anything else. That's all they have to do. It is what it is. Men are judged on so many laundry list of things that they have to meet in terms of criteria to please women. All women need to do is not be a total bitch and spread her legs from time to time. That's all that 99% of guys are looking for. Have sex with us from time to time. Please don't cheat on us. And don't be a constant nag. Any woman can do this. Men are simple. We don't ask for much. And women, you ask for like a bevy of things. You have to be over 6 feet. You have to earn 6 figures. You have to have a college degree, ideally a master's or a PhD. You have to have a big dick. You have to be able to last 20, 30, 40 minutes in bed. You have to have like a gajillion traits. You have to be funny. You have to make me laugh. You have to be romantic. You have to be on all the time. You have to pay for all the dates and everything. You have to protect me when push comes to shove. In a fight, you have to be willing to lay down your life for me. Literally, take a bullet for me. You got to be able to please me, provide me with kids, a house, a car. It's craziness, man. It's craziness. And people wonder why men die so young, why so many commit suicide. They're like, I just can't live up to this expectation. It's unrealistic. This prototypical archetypal male. You know, this Prince Charming. Only the top 1% can meet all these standards. And all the women out there, even though most of them are fucking losers themselves, are going after the top 1%. And they complain that where have all these good men gone because they're not as good as the top 1%. There are only so many elite positions to go around, ladies. Sorry to break it to you. Men on average are just average Joes. And to be honest with you, the average man is superior to the average woman biologically in many ways. So just by being with a guy, all other things being equal, you're actually winning in the transaction right there, then and there. Right? Think about that. You know, women have been practicing hypergamy since the dawn of time. They always marry up, it seems. Men on average earn 20% more, even today. They're complaining about all this bullshit about how men are all broke and stuff, but men on average still earn $1 for every 80 cents a woman brings. Again, earn, right? They earn more because they work more hours, more willing to work the most dangerous jobs in the world, and that's why they make more money. And they're less likely to take time off from work to raise kids and all that. So men are still earning more money. And most college degrees are worthless. So stop acting like just because you have a college degree that you're better than someone who doesn't have a college degree. I have a college degree and I'm a fucking moron. And I graduated with a 4.0 GPA. It doesn't say anything about you as a person. It just says you're stupid enough to be like the rest of the sheeple and get a fucking degree and waste all your money. Luckily, I don't have any debt because I worked my way through college. Unlike a lot of women who are too lazy to get a job while going through school. So they look for a guy to basically be their sugar daddy to provide for them. Anyways, let's wrap this up. Some ladies are even starting to date down in order to score a forever partner. Oh. Woe is me. Seriously? Some ladies are even starting to date down in order to score a forever partner. Man, I've been dating down forever. We don't complain. We just want a woman who's nice. Please don't be a bitch. Don't be a fucking cunt. Don't drag me down to your level of misery. Let me be with my friends from time to time. You know, okay, it would be nice if you could cook and clean, but, you know, a lot of women nowadays don't cook and clean. They think it's beneath them. So, it's like, guys, now it's like, look, please don't be a bitch. Please let me have sex with you. Let me pound one out from time to time. That's it. And sure, there's a whole love factor in a marriage, but in the end, it also is fundamentally an economic transaction, says Lecter. Holy shit, dude. I don't know what else to say. Pretty disturbing stuff. The only solution is MGTOW. It's the only antidote. Just don't date them. Maybe they'll learn and they'll finally look in the mirror and be like, it's our goddamn fault the men have walked away. Constantly bitching and moaning, constantly insulting them, expecting them to do everything for us without giving anything in return. It's an unfair transaction. Guys are getting screwed over. A lot of them have finally gone past the mystifying effect that women have with their pussies. The hypnotic effect a pussy has on men. They're like, you know what? It's not worth it. You only have one life to live. You could die at any time, any day. I'm just gonna focus on myself. Try to hold on to a job. You know, avoid being evicted. Avoid being homeless, which fucking sucks like hell. Trust me, you don't want to be homeless. And that's it. For most guys, it's like, look, go to work, come home. I'm lonely, so now I'll jerk off. You know, get that endorphin high, or I'll play some video games. Or I'll go out with my friends, shoot some hoops, watch the game, go to the bar. Rinse and repeat. And that's all you can really do at this point. You can't really think long term because you could die anytime now. You know, the world's a fucked up place with all the terrorist attacks and all these new diseases and cancer rates going up. It's like, take things one day at a time. Just hold on to my job. You know, do I have food on my plate? Do I have a roof over my head today? That's all you can hope for. And maybe one of these days I'll find my dream girl. The guys are being realistic, like, it's probably not going to happen. Probably going to die alone. And I'm okay with that. Because at the end of the day, we all die alone. Kids are, let's face it, a burden. More mouths to feed, more people to support. And it's hard enough trying to support yourself and just have, like, you know, like a place to live. And food and a job and basic stuff is really hard to come by nowadays because the competition is so fierce. So, yeah, that's life. What do you think about this article? Do you think it's bullshit? Are you a MGTOW or are you married and stuck in a rut? And what are you doing about it? So let me know, guys. Alright, ciao.